1, 2.
Come to Sheffield, they said. It'd be great, they said. They love Midlanders, they said. Well, this was the welcome I got. A beatdown by an angry Yorkshireman. But there was actually method to this madness, and it wasn't just a gratuitous beatdown. Okay, maybe it was a little bit, but what was the reason for it? Well, we won't know, unless we jump into the vlog. Let's go. Hello there, this is Professional Wrestling's premier legal advisor, the counsel, Mr. Stephen Phillips, Esquire. It's Phil here, how are we doing? Yeah, definitely locking into that character now. It's interesting, it's unique, it's different, and it's one of those rare cases where art imitates life. So yeah, let's go for it. So strangely enough, we're starting this vlog in a Premier Inn. But why are we starting it in a Premier Inn? It's because I'm not in Birmingham for this vlog. I was in York for a few days to do some work up that way, and I knew for a fact that I wanted to get some training in that week, but I wouldn't have been able to get back to Birmingham with any kind of energy or willingness to train, shall we say, because it was going to be a few hours train ride. But I knew that Sheffield was going to be a stop that my train would go through between York and Birmingham, so I decided I'll get off a little bit earlier, have a bit of a detour, and go and check out Pursuit Pro Wrestling, the region's most popular pro wrestling company and training school. I actually heard about Pursuit through friends I've made through wrestling, instructors that I've worked with, and they're really big on social media as well. And the fact that it looks like they have a lot of fun with their social media game as well, that was another thing that really appealed to me. And it's great that we're encouraged to check out all these different schools and work with all these different trainers, because no one trainer knows everything. There's always going to be something we can learn from different trainers, different trainees, different schools, so that we can become much more well-rounded and much more complete wrestlers, athletes, performers, you name it. So after a short train ride, we arrived safely in the Steel City of Sheffield with actually plenty of time to spare. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for a quick fuel up. So popped into Burger King, found a prop for one of my other trainees who has this king gimmick going on. But I had a chance to just pass a bit of time, watch the world go by. It was nice and quite peaceful. But I also found out that this branch of Burger King has the weirdest bathroom lighting I've ever seen. Have a look at this. Can I just say, this is the weirdest toilet that I've ever been in, because look at that light, it's like a black light. I don't know if you can see very well here, but honestly, it's like black light, like a crime scene black light. I swear to God, man, it's what? I mean, what exactly are you hoping to find with a black? I better go. Yeah, it was definitely at that point where I realised, yep, I need to go. But to be fair, it was starting to get towards session time anyway, so it made sense that it was time to go, it was time to finish off the last little bit of the trip. So one incline later, and some time later having to catch my breath a little bit, because it kind of caught me off guard, we arrived safely at the unit and ready to go. Okay, so this is the first day in a brand new wrestling school, and we are not going to make a fool of ourselves, alright? Alright, I'm still determined to get this over, so go with me on this. Let's go rev it up. The first thing I've got to say about this place is the welcome that I got from everybody that was there as well. All the trainees, the show-ready guys, the owner, Nathan Black as well. He was the first one that welcomed me when I was walking up to the unit. Great big smile, great big handshake, big loud voice. I mean, you would not miss him at all. It's a shame he wasn't there for too long, because I would have loved to have just, been around him and chat with him a little bit, but it sounded like he had to go and make friends in London. I say make friends. The other big thing that stood out for me as soon as I walked in was that it doesn't just feel like it's a wrestling school either. It feels like it's a community centre. It feels like somewhere where people can just come, people can just chill, they can get away from the world for a little bit, they can chat wrestling, they can chat just anything really. Sofas everywhere, people bringing in snacks, there's a big TV for watching old matches or doing tape study and things like that. And that was really important to me, to feel like I was part of a community, and that's another big reason why I was really keen to check this place out, because a friend of mine, shout out and big love to Mackenzie by the way, she has such good things to say about this place when it comes to the mental health aspect as well, because that's so important in this community. It's so important in wrestling, honestly. Alright then, so before the session starts, I'm going to take this opportunity to warm up and just stretch out a little bit, make sure that I'm loose, make sure that I'm limber, and I've got to give a big shout out to Sky actually, and a big thanks for just capturing a bit of footage of me warming up and actually looking like I should have a chalk outline around me on this one.
Look at the size.
Oh yeah, that's Nathan's thing, isn't it? Sky's brilliant, honestly. Throughout the entire time I was at that session, they always had a smile on their face, and to me, that was a great indicator of exactly how people feel about this place. And if memory serves, they were one of the first people that I started following when I was in like the conception stages of beginning my pro wrestling journey. So there was Sky, there was Mackenzie, and there was a couple of other pros as well. I think it was Gene Money and Charles Crowley, because they're great characters, honestly. But Sky's journey really resonated with me because there's a little bit of their journey that matches up with mine as well. And as we know, it's really easy to want to get behind people or want to support people whose journey or little bits of their journey matches up with yours, because that way you can relate. You know, there's commonality, there's fellowship in like shared experiences, isn't there? And when they made their big debut at PPW 26, I believe it was, Pursuit put the match on its YouTube page. I saw it, I watched it, I enjoyed it, and I was well happy for them, honestly, proper proud of them. So yeah, well done Sky. But anyway, back to the session. Now, I went on a Tuesday night, which for me normally would be a beginner session at the Kamikaze Pro Dojo, which is where I normally train. And it's a chance to perfect, refine, and just clean up a few things that I already know, but I'm never too advanced and I'm never too good to just perfect things, to just clean things up a little bit, especially when I'm looking toward, hopefully, my debut match. Instead, Tuesdays at Pursuit are development sessions, and these sessions are reasonably loosely planned, and they give us the freedom to work on areas that we want to develop, that we want to improve, or that we want to try as well. So there are trainers on hand, there are experienced pros on hand. Head coach Liam Slater is on hand as well. He's an absolute wealth of knowledge and really, really generous with his time, with his advice, and with his support as well. Honestly, I can't say enough good things about him. So my plan when I was there was I wanted to work on rolls, footwork, intensity, committing to bumps, and a bit more advanced tech. Pretty simple stuff, but I know I have to get better at it, so I thought, why not? And happily, there were guys there that were more than happy to work with me on that, so yeah, that was brilliant. And speaking of tech, Coach Liam Slater here was bringing in a little tech shine that we were all encouraged to get involved with. So for me personally, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And part of it involved a way of getting into a wrist lock, which was completely and utterly new to me, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it kind of bamboozled my brain a little bit. But again, with every training session I've been to, it's learning, it's training, and if you do something wrong the first time, then that means you get an opportunity to learn how to do it right the next time. Simple as that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I quite like this spot, and I have no issue with getting a little bit flashy, especially if I want to wrestle as a babyface. I'm not sure when I'll be able to wrestle as a babyface because my new gimmick, this lawyer gimmick, it's not very babyfacey, so I'm going to have to work on it a little bit. But at the same time, I like the idea of being able to get a little bit flashy, get a little bit excitable, and I guess for me, it's like showcase what I've been able to pick up, showcase what I've been able to learn and develop, and you know, I'm proud of it. I'm definitely proud of it. The way that we did this drill was that it was 1 in, 1 out. So to begin with, I was working with Lewis, the Music Man, who is fantastic, by the way, such a great character. And I'm really sorry, I don't remember the name of this one I was working with here, this girl here. I'm so sorry. Answers in the comments, please. But I do remember you being awesome to work with and great to be around as well. Now, there was a lot going on in this spot, so we did it in stages. We broke it down into 3 stages. So the first stage here, as you can see, is I'm getting wrist locked, and then I'm forward rolling onto my butt, backwards rolling onto my knees. I'm shooting my left leg in and giving her a single leg takedown, and then transitioning to a knee bar. And that was stage 1. And now moving on to stage 2, and this stage involves a little bit of fight back, as you can see Coach Slater and Callum working through here. So with Callum in a knee bar, he's going to try and take Coach Slater's head. It doesn't work. So instead he tries for an arm bar, but Coach Slater blocks it, tries to roll him up, and then catches him in a waist lock. So here I am again with the legend that is the Music Man, as I just flump onto the canvas. Don't look anything into that. I'm supposed to be starting from a position to get a knee barred anyway, so just I had to get down quickly. All right. And you know what I was saying about community being so important to me as well, and community being such an important part of PPW as well? Well, the Music Man plays such a big part in that as well. He's such a great character. He's so positive as well. Nobody here has a bad word to say about him because he's always making everybody here feel amazing. Oh, would you get off my face? Honestly, this is the face that's going to make me money. This is the face that people are going to recognize, and people like my face. Well, I like my face, but whatever. So my turn at going the other way on stage 2, and yeah, I've got to get my positioning better. I've got to get, my footwork better in the ring anyway, but it'll come, and that's why we train. And the third and final stage is really simple. So from the seated waist lock, it's a crucifix pin. Nice and simple, and from there you can either kick out and roll back, or kick out and go back into the seated waist lock and then just do something else. And can I just say, I just want to take a moment and say this, I look really good when I'm getting crucifix pinned. And obviously visuals and aesthetics are really, really important in the presentation aspect of pro wrestling, but it's good for me to just look back and actually realize, yeah, I look good doing that. So yeah, I'll definitely take that. So now onto the full spot. We love to see it. All right, so here's how me and Music Man did. Yes, I'm really happy with that. I'm going to use that, actually. I'm definitely going to use that spot. It's a nice one. All right, let's go the other way around.
Roll to knees. Left leg short through. Yeah, push. Left leg goes under, right leg goes over. Yeah, turn your hip in a little bit more. Yeah, we're there. From there, try to get the base, so you can reach. Arm comes, the leg comes over, left the arm bar, release it. So there, roll up the body. So here, up and over, you get 1, 2, kick out. Yes, into waist. Yes, pull. Nice.
Yeah, pretty good again. I'm happy with that. I mean, there are a few things that I could have done better and just helped it go a little bit smoother, but I'll work on those. I'll take it away. And yeah, that was pretty good. All right, let's go on to the next bit. The other thing I wanted to work on while I was here at Pursuit was my intensity. It is a pretty catch-all word, and the idea is that it's meant to encapsulate things like my body language, my facial expressions, and my noises, and the idea that I'm in a match, I'm in a fight, and I want to be in that match, in that fight. There's so much more that it's closely linked to, but for the purposes of this, the three of us here that you can see, so me in the green, Dan in the red, and Matthias in the blue, we put our heads together and we thought maybe the best way to practice this, especially when it comes to body language and facial expressions and noises, is to give and take a heat. It also gave me a chance to practice giving a heat as well because, well, I'm not a natural heel, put it that way. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a natural kind of villain or nasty person or anything like that. So honestly, doing something like this and having to get my head around it is difficult at times. But again, I'll never say no to a bit of practice. And Dan is really good when it comes to playing a heel, and Matthias is really expressive as well. So I felt like I was in good hands with these two, honestly. But before we started, it was good to just talk and just chat and just get a bit of advice, get a bit of information, and things for me to think about whilst I was actually working in that exercise. As if I didn't have enough to think about already. But it was also good to learn a bit more about themselves, their journeys, where they're at, where they're from, where they're looking to go to. It was good. It was good to be able to build, some positive connections and some positive working relationships there right before I beat Matthias up. So, good times. But I do appreciate Matthias working with me on this one. So, yeah, thanks very much for that. Every opportunity I get is an opportunity to practice, it's an opportunity to get better, and I still got plenty of things to work on, but compared to the first time I was given a heat, this is like 10 times better. I still remember that first time I gave a heat. It felt so unnatural, I'm not gonna lie to you. Although I'm not gonna lie to you, the ending there where I gave Matthias that hard buckle and where my phone was positioned as well to try and capture what I was doing, I liked how that looked, I liked how it ended, and I liked the effect where Matthias was taking the hard buckle and it just shook as well. That gave it like some real kind of gravitas there. So yeah, that was good. That was really good. And again, I really appreciate Matthias for working with me on that and for just being the target of my assault, if you will. So yeah, thanks very much for that. All right, so that's me giving a heat. So now it's my turn to take a heat. So remember at the start of this video, I said that the welcome I got from Pursuit was a beatdown by an angry Yorkshireman and that there was actually method to this madness. It turns out there was method to this madness because this is one of the things I wanted to work on: intensity, noises, facial expressions, all of that. So after I gave Matthias some heat a bit earlier, I asked Dan if he could give me like a minute or so of heat himself. The good thing is, with Matthias here with my phone and recording everything, we could use that as a hard cam. So when I'm getting beaten down, I can try and look out to the crowd and try and show them my facial expressions, make some noise and saying, ow, I'm getting beaten up, this is uncomfortable, I don't like this, things like that. And when a heat goes slow like this, like when it's marinating, when it's brewing, like when it's building, that gives me much more opportunity to show out to the crowd using things like my facial expressions, my body language, my noises, things like that. So this was a really good opportunity for me to do that. So yeah, as far as what I wanted to get out of this session, being a development session, I'm totally and utterly confident that I came away from it feeling much better, much more improved. So yeah, that was a great success. Of course, I've still got plenty to improve upon, I've still got plenty to work on and perfect and refine, but with regular training at Kamikaze Pro, my home school in Birmingham, and maybe even other schools across the country, if I find myself going away for work again, I'll continue to do that, I'll continue to get better. So yep, keep watching this space because I've got a big goal that I want to achieve, hopefully before year end. And even though it doesn't look it right now, I had a fantastic time at Pursuit. Everybody was really, really great, really, really welcoming. I'd love to come back. And if I get the chance to work with Coach Liam Slater again, I'd love it because I feel like there's so much I could take away from him, so much I could learn from him. So yeah, hopefully very soon. And now that my beatdown has ended, this is where I'll leave you. So big thanks to everybody at Pursuit for being so awesome. And thank you everybody for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love it if you could leave a like and leave me a comment below. It just goes to show that I'm doing something right by you. And keep an eye out for my next vlog, which is coming shortly because that's another good one for me. So thank you again. I'll see you then. And this vlog is adjourned.